Hello everyone, myself Kruti Vyas, and today I'm going to present my topic on the grammar story, archetypes, metaphor and aesthetic architecture of the Lion King. This is my academic details and presentation details. This is a table of content which I will discuss today. So my research question is, how do the theory of Northrop Frye and I. Richards help us understand why the Lion King works as a powerful and meaningful story? My hypothesis is that the figurative language and archetypal structure used in The Lion King, especially its light and darkness imagery, the metaphor of circle of the life, and the line specifically remember who you are, work together as the primary reason the film creates such a strong moral and emotional impact on the audience, going far beyond what the plot alone can achieve. So, why this looks new to the audience? So, you might wonder why I am applying serious literary theory to a Disney movie today. So, the answer is that The Lion King carries the exact same literary weight as a classic literature. By using Northrop Frye's, we can uncover its ancient mythic roots, and by using I.A. Richards, we can see how its visual and spoken language builds deep emotions, and together these theories prove this film belongs to the in our canonical academic discussion. The grammar of the story, core argument, and the title explain. So this brings me to my core argument that which I call the grammar of the story. Just like language has rules, storytelling has rules. Northrop Frye gives us a structural grammar, how stories are built from the ground up, and I.A. Richards provides the linguistic grammar, how words and images actually create meaning, and together they explain why this film resonates so deeply across this generation. So first introduction, let's briefly examine the truth theoretical lenses I used for this analysis. So first, Northrop Frye looks at the archetypal universal pattern that he divides into four mythoi or season like comedy, tragedy, etc. And the second one is I.A. Richards. He looks at the figurative language. He explains how an image, which he calls the vehicle, carries an underlying idea, which he calls a tenor. He also details how language delivers in four distinct types of meaning. First, sense. Second, feeling. Third, tone. And last is intention. And this is a Northrop Frye's archetypal criticism. So, looking deeper at the Frye's four mythoi, he argues that literature is not just a random collection of events, but it recycles ancient pattern rooted deep in human psychology as well. Spring represent like comedy, autumn represent like tragedy, and so forth. So, the question I asked was that where exactly does the Lion King fit into this cycle? So the Lion King as a comedy cycle. How? So my presentation shows it map perfectly to the Fry's comedy cycle. It following is four distinct step. First, we see order, which establishes at Pride Rock. Second is a displacement, which occurs when Simba is exiled. Third is a wandering. It represented by his Hakuna Matata phase. And finally, the return, when he reclaimed the throne and restored society to equilibrium. And the mythic structure in the Lion King. So, if we look closely at this mythic geography, here Pride Rock is not just a physical setting, it functions as a sacred center of the world. Because Scars creates a tragic wasteland, but Simba's eventual return, it embodies the classical comedic restoration, bringing back the rain and restoring moral order to the sacred center. The Hamlet parallel. So to prove that these archetypes are truly universal, so I compared the film to Shakespeare's Hamlet, because you will notice that they said the exact same grammar, and the murder king, the usurping uncles and exiled prince, and the loyal companions as well. So the main difference is simply we can see the resolution, while Hamlet ends in tragedy, but here the Lion King completes the comedy cycle. Aya Richards and his figurative language. Now switch to Aya Richards' practical criticism, because we learn to look for a tenor and hidden concept and the vehicle, the image carrying it. So Richard here also break down any utterance into four meanings: sense, feeling, tone, and intention. Let's apply this linguistic grammar directly to the film. Four kind of meanings. To take the famous line, "Remember who you are," spoken by Mufasa, goes to Simba. So the sense is literal. Mufasa is reminding Simba that he is true king. The feeling conveys profound grief and unconditional love as well. The tone is a tender, and finally the intention is to wake Simba up from his push him toward responsibility. So here the plot alone does not make us emotional, but it is these four layers of meaning that we do creating emotional meaning. Expanding on this idea, the cycle of life is not merely a song, it's an expanded metaphor, a powerful vehicle which carrying us the tenor of natural and moral. Furthermore, the film visual design act as a figurative language and his style on his rights, and in which the golden lights surrounding Mufasa and the green shadow surrounding Scar is immediately represented by this. And a possible objection, so the valid academic objection to this argument might be, what if the emotions come strictly from the music and animation, not the words? So my answer to that is that this actually strengthen Richard's theory. In a cinematic medium, Hans Zimmer's rising and animators choice act as a oral and visual metaphor. They are a vehicle for meaning just as much as any spoken text. Watch each theory reveals in The Lion King. To summarize this finding, Fry shows us that structural bones of the story, the hero's journey, the dying god, and the mythic center. Meanwhile, Richard shows us that the linguistic heart of the story, the emotional coding of light, darkness, and inherited destiny as well, where the two theories meet. When we look at where these two theories meet, we see a powerful combination. Fry provides a narrative structure, other side Richards provide the linguistic and visual meaning. So when you mix this ancient mythic cycle with deep personal metaphors, you get culturally defining masterpiece. So my conclusion, to conclude, literary theory is not just for canonical books, but it lives in a popular we consume daily in our life. And The Lion King is especially endures because it perfectly executed this grammar of story. So here my hypothesis is prove that figurative language and archetypal structure do not work in isolation, but they work in partnership to create profound and emotional weight. This is my learning outcome, and this is the final summary table of my entire analysis. And this is the detailed infography of my whole presentation, and these are the references. Thank you. Questions are please welcome.
Does the absence of literal scenes in music and lighting weaken their precision as a metaphor, or does it strengthen feeling by bypassing logical filter?
So music and lightning bypass the prison house of the language to reach the soul, the pre-reflective consciousness directly. As metaphors, they communicate is inexpressible, and with the precision that the logic and that logic define cannot replicate. Next one.
So my question is, does Simba's Hakuna Matata phase represent a necessary green world for a healing, or is it a site of moral stagnation that contradicts his hero's journey?
Okay, so Simba's here Hakuna Matata is a vital green world from for trauma recovery. Yet it risk moral stagnation by delaying dharma. So these lotus eater phase suspend his growth until supernatural intervention is come and forces him to reclaim his duty as well. So yeah, this is from my side. Thank you.